I gave up the corporate life to pursue my passion for kayak fishing full time. And a few times a year, I head to Los Buzos Resort in Panama. There, I serve as a guest guide, helping anglers figure out one of the most epic fisheries on the planet.
Trophy rooster fish, bro.
The tuna! We got a tuna!
You're watching Field Trips with Robert Field.
The land of giants. Welcome to Panama!
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Field Trips Panama. So I've got 4 full fishing episodes coming up next. But before that, I wanted to put out this kind of intro vlog episode about the Field Trips Panama, about Los Buzos Resort, where we go fishing out there in Cambutal. It's just an incredible place. I thought this would be a cool way to kind of kick off the next 4 episodes, kind of show you guys, you know, what it's like getting there, the transportation, kind of give you guys the rundown of the techniques we're using, the fish we're going after, how we're catching bait, how we're using bait, what lures we're using, what it's like for our guests to show up and get there and fish with us, kind of all that stuff, so I can really kind of set the stage, get all the kind of educational stuff out of the way so that the next 4 episodes can just be action-packed, non-stop fishing action. So I hope you guys enjoy this. There's a lot of laughs along the way, kind of show you guys a little behind the scenes, show you what it's really like at Los Buzos Resort. If you're unaware, we do week-long trips year-round. We take groups of 10 out there, and so the next 4 episodes will be 2 different groups of 10 anglers that came out there to fish with me, Adam and Eric. So if you want to get in on these trips, check out the description below, bunch of info, comment. If you have any questions, let me know. Think you're gonna dig this, check it out. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Field Trips Panama. Just got here to Panama City last night. We got all the anglers loaded up on the bus. We got 10 anglers here this time. Here for 2 weeks back to back. This is the first group for the first week. We got a 5 or 6 hour bus ride through the Panamanian countryside to get to Los Buzos Resort. It's gonna be fun. Come along for the ride. Hey guys, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Robert Field. I'll be one of your guides for the week, fishing guides. Obviously, also I'm kind of the camera guy, video guy. So yeah, throughout the week, if you catch good fish, please let us know. Get on the radio, let me know. We'll run over and I'll film it. We have arrived. We're here at Los Buzos. Everyone's unloading their gear now.
How you doing? Eric.
So everyone's just getting unloaded right now. Then we'll start rigging up all our gear, rigging up the kayaks, rigging rods, get ready to launch in the morning.
The legendary Robert Fields. Gotta put that in there. I like your style with the camera. I love it, homie.
YouTube sensation. Get it right, bro. Get it right.
Hummingbird, eat.
Here's to a good week fishing. Salud!
Salud! Woo!
Let's do it. Basically, the way this works in the morning is Adam is head of operations here and the head guide. Eric is also a head guide. He lives here as well. I'm a guest guide. And our job in the morning, we get everyone rigged up, make sure everything's working, get all the fish finders in, batteries in, make sure everything's working well. And then the 3 of us got to drag all 12 kayaks down the beach. It's quite the workout. Then we line them all up and we help everyone launch one at a time. So even if you come here and you have no experience going through the surf, we will help you make it easy. We've had guys come here, first time ever kayak fishing, got them through the surf. One guy, Jimmy, got out there 5 minutes later, had a trophy rooster on his lap. So yeah, any experience level is welcome to come. We'll take care of you, make sure it works out.
So we're gonna head out here.
So basically, I'm gonna drag it out, get your thing in it, and then I'll tell you when to hop in. Cool?
Once we put you in the water, head out maybe 100 yards, just stay there.
Just hang out there.
You're gonna be out of the break. Don't go too far to the right near those rocks because it will break close to there like it is right now. Once everybody's together, see this big line of rocks out here? There's a gap between those. The outside stops the swell, so there's a little pass that we'll go through over here, and we're gonna head out to those far rocks.
We call that the S-curve. So if we're ever talking about the S-curve, we're talking about this right here. You guys need to like follow our path.
Yeah, you need to stay in
stay behind us, don't be side by side, follow our path, because it's a pretty narrow margin for error. It should be okay today, but some days it's really not okay, and just you never know. So yeah, stay where we go.
And when we get out there, it's gonna be pretty calm. There's not gonna be any real breakers out here, but there are several rocks out there where it will break occasionally, and we'll point them out to you.
Those crappie jigs, you're not gonna be able to cast them like at all. So if you see the bonita busting and stuff, just pitch it out behind you, or just keep it pitched out behind you when you want to bait, and just kind of do this, like just kind of sporadically twitch it and just troll it behind you, and you'll get a run. And don't make your drag too tight on those crappie jigs, because those hooks aren't super strong, and they'll straighten out the hook. You guys will see these bonita, like the guys that fish for bass, like these bonita fight way harder than any largemouth I've ever caught. They're strong.
And when you're trolling it, keep the drag just tight enough so that bait can't swim away, can't take the clicker, and when a big fish hits it, it can take it easy.
And you want to let, if something hits a big bait, you want to let it go for like 10 Mississippi at least. Let him get the whole thing in his mouth, or you'll end up pulling it out. The hook will be untouched and the whole fish will be mangled.
I like taking the clicker off.
Pick the rod up.
Yeah, because
put it in a free spool. Keep your thumb on the spool lightly, just so you don't get a backlash. Take the clicker off, feed it for 10 seconds, and then when you're ready, put it to strike and just crank. You don't need to set the hook.
Set it.
Just crank until the line starts peeling off your reel.
And when you do, once that fish starts going, keep your rod tip towards the front of the boat. If you have it off to the side, that's how you're gonna go in. Those bonita, if you have a live bonita out, you have to keep pedaling. If you stop and just chill, even for like 10 minutes re-rigging or something, they'll probably die, yeah. Everything else, like when we're close to the rocks and stuff, if you wanna throw a little bucktail, let it sink and just kind of pop it up, you can catch fish that way. Those XPS jigs will catch like all kinds of stuff. You could sit on the rocks and throw that. Like, I don't know how many big fish you fought from the kayak, but you can throw that XPS jig down there and you'll pull up like 30 species in a couple hours, and most of you won't even know what they are, but they'll all look cool and it's a ton of fun. You can start off doing that if you want.
If anything has teeth or spines, call one of us over. We'll unhook it for you. You don't want to grab anything.
There's nothing here that's poisonous. Like you don't
want to get stabbed.
Right, you don't have to worry about like touching any fish, but most of them have teeth or sharp spines or both. And you guys all have gaffs. Call us on the radio if you don't know what it. Do not gaff a roosterfish. Don't gaff a marlin or sailfish, but we'll know if you know way before you get that up. But any good fish to eat, we'll keep for sure.
We're going to be on channel 69, your radios. We do require that you wear your life jackets.
Remember guys, when you go through the S-curve, follow our path. If you're gonna flip today, it's gonna be in the S-curve because you didn't listen to us. All right guys, so while I'm heading out to the spot, let me tell you kind of the general strategies and tactics and techniques that we worked to get the different fish out here. So live bait is definitely king offshore. I mean, in most situations, most fisheries that I've been to, and it's no exception here. So out here, one of the main bait fish is bonita. They're essentially a tuna, but they don't taste good. So people consider them a trash fish in the States, but they fight just like a tuna, so they're really strong, torpedo, kind of football-shaped fish. We catch those on little crappie jigs, literally a crappie jig, like a little marabou jig used for crappie back in the States and on a lake or whatever. And we also can get them on what's called an XPS jig. Get it from Bass Pro. It's like a vertical jig, little piece of metal with a hook hanging off it. And the bonita are usually up top. We usually get them up top. So you'll see them busting, throw it in there. They can be actually pretty finicky. So even when they're going crazy, crashing on bait, you'll throw your crappie jig or XPS jig in there and you think like, how could they not hit it? But sometimes they won't. You can also troll it behind you and kind of pop your rod sporadically and get them that way. The other big bait fish out here that's really killer is blue runners. And now we've been really hard to find them this week. Finally found some last week, and I got a huge roosterfish on it. So blue runners really are like roosterfish candy out here. They can just be harder to find. They're usually not on the surface. Now we have found them on the surface, but these 2 weeks they have not been on the surface at all. Last week we were finding them in 100 feet of water, about 80 feet down. And now with the current ripping, it's tough because you gotta throw your XPS jig, and by the time it falls all the way down where you're marking these schools of bait, the current's taking it way out. So I'm having to cast that way into the current so that by the time it gets down, it's actually below my boat where I'm marking the school of bait fish. Besides live bait, another great tactic is topwater poppers. We throw big poppers like this big, throw them at the rocks or throw them out over structure, pop it as hard as you can, pretty fast, and Kubera snapper will even come up and get it. Tuna, that's how we get most of our yellowfin tunas on poppers. Roosterfish will hit the poppers. Last year this time, we were catching just roosterfish left and right, some of the smaller ones hitting topwater poppers. We were having like 6, 7, 8 of them fight over it every time you had the popper. So popper's a great technique. Another good technique is vertical jigging, which I like to do anywhere offshore. Vertical jigging is basically a big slab of metal with hooks hanging off it. When the current's ripping, I like to use at least 5 ounce. So pretty heavy jigs. I've used 7s and 9s. And that you basically drop all the way down to the bottom. You want it to be straight below you, so you'll throw it out into the current. So by the time it gets down, it's right below you. And then you're essentially reeling as fast as you can and popping your rod tip. And in my opinion, you can't go fast enough. So it's like one of the best shoulder workouts I think I've ever done. You are just reeling this heavy jig up as fast as you can while popping the rod. And on that, I've got rooster fish on it. The Cubera snappers will hit it. Mike Ponce got a massive broomtail grouper, 50 pounds on the vertical jig.
Oh yeah! Not a rock. Not a rock. I'm on a good one. Oh yeah! No! It's a grouper! Yeah!
Wahoo will hit it. Pretty much anything will hit it except for maybe mahi, sailfish, and marlin. They're a little too smart for that. But other than that, pretty much anything out here will hit the vertical jig. Besides that, we'll also troll divers. You know, something like this. You know, in the bass world, they call it a crankbait. Out here, they call it a plug. But basically something that dives down, and that imitates obviously any kind of bait fish. And on that, we'll mostly get the Cero mackerel out here. Jack Revolves usually tear them up, which is why I don't like to do it too much because you get a bunch of bycatch, but roosterfish would definitely hit that if you know, swam it in front of his face. And so those are kind of the staple of techniques that we use out here. There's other stuff you can do to catch fish, but those are the most reliable. So usually when I'm out here, I'm spending my time on one of those techniques, or sometimes more than one. If I get like a blue runner, the blue runner, unlike the bonita, you don't have to pedal real fast. I just keep my line tight. I'll just pedal real slow to make sure the line's tight. And then so I've got that live bait out behind me, and I'll pitch a vertical jig out in front of me and be jigging to kind of double my chances of hooking up. So those are the main techniques. That's what we're gonna be doing out here. This time of year, our main targets out here are roosterfish, broomtail grouper, Cubera snapper. The wahoo are pretty much gone, but this is the time of year too that the sailfish really start moving in. So the sailfish could always hit your live bait. And what's so killer about here is that Morris, the owner of Los Buzos, he's a big time marlin fisherman. Well, he's got most of his marlin here from boats in 70 feet of water. And Adam Fisk hooked a 500-pound estimated black marlin in 70 feet of water right where we're heading right now. So you never know what you're gonna get out here. It's one of the most exciting fisheries because at any time, a monster fish could hit your line. You don't really know what it's gonna be until you start fighting it. So if you wanna come out here and do this, we offer week-long trips. We've had 10 guys last week, 10 guys this week. It's all inclusive, all your food, beers included, all your transportation except for your flight, kayak, the guide, I mean, everything's included. Really reasonable rates. I've never found a place that's as affordable as this for a week-long, you know, fishing trip in paradise. And Los Buzos is definitely the land of giants. So if you want more info, want to find out more about the trip, you can email info@losbuzos.com. It's in the description below. You can come out here, fish for a week with me, be in the videos. If you want to come on one of my trips, just include in your email that you want to come with Robert Field, and we'd love to have you out. I'm out here about 4 times a year for 2 weeks, so that's like 8 groups total that you can get in on. So let me know, comment below, or email info@losbuzos.com. They'll definitely loop me in if you ask for me. We'll talk about it. I'll help you get set up to come out here and hook into some giant fish. But right now I'm heading out to the spot where I think we're gonna get some blue runners. That's what I want to get today. Try to get some of these massive fish. It's a little bit of a pedal. It's only about a mile to get out here to the rocks. It takes like 20 minutes, so really just super accessible fishery, launching right off the beach. And at any moment you can hook up with a fish of a lifetime. It's gonna be a good day. I can feel it. Oh yeah. Who needs the gym in Panama, bro?
Woo!
Oh yeah.
YakFish TV, Mr. Robert Fields.
Who's the hardest working guy here?
No, I know it for sure. That's 100%.
Moore's actually a pretty good cook, but
He's a really good cook too, but
but now I'm realizing how bad he is because Coming up next episode, it's time to take the first group out on the water in search of fish. We start off chasing some of the smaller species until everyone's comfortable with what we're doing. Nice little Cubera. And then it's time to go after some of the big boys. Fish out! This fish is getting the better of me right now.
yeah, baby.
Fish on something big. This fish has snapped this rod in half.
Trophy rooster fish, bro.
Yeah!
Oh yeah! Look at the Panama!
Fish on, ladies and gents, and it is not small. Ah! 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 Yeah, baby! Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, boys. Panamanian sleigh ride.